Hey everyone, it's Carmetta, and today I'm going to show you how to make these no-sew ribbon bows. To get started, you're going to want to cut your ribbon about 12 inches long using nice sharp scissors, and then cut a second piece about 3 inches long. Once you've cut them, use some fray check on the edges to ensure that they don't fray later on. The first step is to make an infinity or an H shape with your ribbon by looping it around and bringing the edge to the center like so on both sides. Now if your ribbon has a right side and a wrong side with a print, make sure that the right sides are up at the top of the loop so that they will be shown in the bow. So you'll end up with an intersection kind of like this, and you're going to use your hot glue gun to hold it down. Now for this part I recommend not using a ton of glue because it will make it harder to pinch your bow in a later step. So just a tiny bit of glue, just enough to keep it there. And I always like to keep a pencil or something on hand to push the glue down so that I don't burn my fingers while I do it. Now that we have the infinity shape set and ready to go, we are going to pinch the loops slightly on top of each other like this. And once we make sure it's nice and symmetrical, we are going to grab some thread and loop it around the center to hold it in the scrunched position. Now this is where you really want to take your time, because if you put your thread on and it's not in the middle, it's going to end up a little bit weird. And it doesn't have to be perfect right now, you just want to make sure that it's equal on both sides. So I'm grabbing some thread, I just had some pink thread on hand, cutting it, and then I'm going to loop it around and tie it in a knot once I have it in a good spot. And again, take your time on this part because it's probably the most crucial step in making sure that your bow turns out nice and cute. So just again, nice and tight around the center, and then tie a knot when you feel like you've got it right where you want it. Okay, so I just finished, I tied the knot and now I'm cutting it off. And our next step will be to put the center around the middle. So I like to fold it in half using a line of hot glue. I find that if the center is half the width of the rest of the bow, that it looks a lot cuter and more feminine than if it's the same width as the rest of the bow. So I'm just folding that in half, pressing it down, making sure that it's nice and secure and ready to go before I add it around the bow. Now when we do add it around the bow, if you want to just make a bow and not do anything else, you would just glue it on just like this and you would be done. Quick, easy, fast. But if you want to make something, let's say you want to make a headband, then you would take your tights or nylons, whatever you're using, cut a strip, and then gently stretch it so that it rolls up on itself to create a headband shape. And you would wrap around the center of the bow and then glue it in the back so that it would be attached to the headband. Another thing you can do is use an alligator clip, and that's what I'm going to do right now. I love alligator clips because I feel like they're super easy to use. I also use them for bow ties a lot because they slide over buttons for my sons, so it's really fun. Obviously this isn't a bow tie, but what you would do is just add a little bit of glue to the back and then glue that strip to the back of the bow and press it. Make sure it's nice and tight and secure and cool down for a second before you do the next step. You really want to make sure that it's attached well so it doesn't just pull right off when you wrap it around, because you're going to want to wrap it around nice and taut. So I'm getting to that point, feeling good about it, grabbing my clip, dropping my clip, grabbing my clip again. I clip it to the back of that centerpiece and I put glue just right on the ribbon and the clip. Since it's clipped on, it will only clip to the back. I pull it nice and taut and I press it down onto the back. Then once it's dried, I clip it off, use some fray check on that raw edge so it doesn't fray everywhere, and after that I am done. It just needs to dry, and once it's dry it'll be ready to go. I think the wait time is about 30 minutes. So it's almost done, you guys, and I'm just poofing out the bow so I get it exactly how I want. And this is ribbon, ta-da, from Joann. The width is 5/8 of an inch and the brand is Fray or Au Fray, and it turned out really cute, especially for how fast it was. So I made a couple of these. I'm gonna go ahead and show you some of the other ones I made. My favorite, I think, is actually, I don't know, it might be this pink scalloped bow, but I really love that floral one in the bottom right. I think that one was one of my favorites too. Anyway, I hope you learned something new. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have questions or comments, please leave them below and feel free to follow along. I'm Cara with a K, Metta with 2 T's on almost all of my social platforms. So take care, you guys.